Hey everyone, welcome to Five for Friday, my weekly short form podcast where every week I interview an entrepreneur that I think has something valuable to share with my audience. And it's been a crazy one. I have three great candidates lined up for an interview, but this week was a crazy week. So, in order to keep my promise to you, I'm interviewing myself. So, with that said, let's begin. So, how did I get started in real estate? I was always in sales since I was a little kid, and I had a successful career in sales. Also tried modeling, but luckily I stuck with sales. And a few friends of mine later in life made me consider the transition from retail over to real estate, and it's been a good one. Thank God, knock on wood. But it's not easy. So that's where you hear the the intonation. Um, but I wouldn't trade a thing. Were there any books, coaches, or podcasts that helped along the way? All the books behind me are just, maybe 5% of all the books I've read. I think I've read over 200 books, but there were definitely plenty. I would say that the first book that anyone needs to start out with if they're going to ever tackle a hard thing in life, whether that's a career or a relationship or anything, is The Growth Mindset by Carol Dweck. It's literally the best book for anyone to grow. And it says obvious things, but until you read it, man, is it helpful. So that and I listen to a ton of podcasts. I do have a few that are favorites, but for real estate sales and to know what's going on out in the world, I listen to Tom Ferry. I think if you had to pick one podcast, he would be the one. Were there any key failures along the way that set you up for success? Um, I got this question from a podcaster named Tim Ferriss, and I love it because it shows everyone in life has a failure. Everyone goes through some hardships, but it's those hardships that like polish our character that allow us to sort of reset and move forward into a life that we want. Without those failures, I don't think we would all be the people that we are. So, with that said, I've had plenty, but my first year was really, really tough. The number one failure was that I had a buyer that I showed 72 homes to. This happened to be my first buyer. I had a second buyer and closed them on the first appointment, but my first buyer, I really wanted to help them. I showed them 72 homes. We had six offers that were denied on four different houses. And then luckily, one of these houses came back to us and accepted an offer. We brokered a new, offer, a higher offer, and they accepted. And with that said, at the closing table, the listing agent, did not share commission equally, and I had an agreement with them, and suffice to say, instead of making 6,000 for showing 72 homes, I made 3,000 and had to split that in half with my broker. And I was so livid because I worked for probably 6 months for these people. And I love them. I have nothing against the buyers, but the way that worked out, oh my God, I almost did not make it through. Sorry for that long story. But here I am. I persevered. And I knew that these false starts aren't indicative of success in the industry. Now, we'll get to that another time. What's one tool or habit that you rely on for success? I think you kind of see it. I have a positive mindset. Every day is a new day. Every breath is a new opportunity to take something and turn it into good. In order to do that, every moment, every cell in my being has to be about service for another person. Now, if you go back to, basic psychology, if you do things only for yourself, you're not going to do anything. You're going to do very little. Very few people are motivated just for themselves. But if you have a wife, if you have a kid, or if you have a best friend, or someone calls you that you really, really want to help, you'll get up and run. And so if you think of, getting up every day in order to like help someone with a problem or save them from something, you'll accomplish more. And so charity with that said is a big thing. If you could have a billboard say anything to the world, what would it say? Right here, never give up. It doesn't matter how much money you've earned or have or all the successes. I think everyone really experiences setbacks in their life. You just don't see it. And that's the thing. Never give up. My wife can tell you a funny story, but I've waited 20 years to marry the wife that I have now, and to no fault of anyone. It's just circumstances. But never give up. All right, guys. Well, with that said, I hope you have a great weekend, a relaxing weekend, and I'll see you next week.